pretty serious. I do thank you for coming out tonight. I know this is a serious topic for this community. We had a variety of thoughts about doing it tonight. We certainly didn't want to hear from people that we were staging a meeting so quickly that folks could not come, and in fact I've already heard from some residents about that. And yet we didn't want to delay it because we knew it was a matter of great interest to the community as well. As has been stated there, I hope that folks won't be dissatisfied when they leave tonight, because I suspect that some of the questions that are going to be asked are things that we would be precluded to discussing, because they either involve privacy laws or they involve legal issues that could come back on the district. And we have a fairly specific set of those rules to live by for virtually every personnel decision, not just made up for tonight's situation. I thought I might start by sharing a little bit about the timeline and some of the things that were done, and give you a little feel for that. Again, I will go as in-depth as I can without crossing the line, if you will. Those PTO folks who have been to visit me or have worked with me in my office know that brevity is not one of my strengths, and that I might go on if I could. So to get a short answer, you're pretty sure it's for the proper reason. I received a call actually an administrator at Central Office received a call on March 14th in the afternoon, alleging that there were testing irregularities going on in the office here at Mann School. I think it was close to 2 in the afternoon by the time I was even made aware of it. As soon as we could get out of the meeting I was conducting, we came over here. Myself, my person who's in charge of our HR department, Trish Carlson, who does conduct most investigations involving personnel, and Felicia Starks, who received the phone call. All three of us came to this building. The first thing I did was go to the office and speak to 2 individuals who were allegedly involved in this, and ask them to write their statement. Separately, different rooms. We've watched enough crime TV to know what that routine is like. So they wrote their comments on what they were doing relative to ISAT testing. Following that, Mrs. Carlson conducted, and I was present along with Mrs. Starks, conducted an interview individually with each of the people that were engaged in the alleged misconduct. We had lots of questions about administration of the test, about how they were collected, about a variety of issues around ISAT testing. Based upon the information received from the 2 individuals themselves, we decided to take appropriate action with the individuals involved. We also had an obligation, although we had direct testimony from folks, we had an obligation to report this to the State Board of Education. Frankly, we were hoping that the State Board of Education might see some of this as, okay, that happens. Stray marks have been erased before, no big deal. When we shared, again, based on the testimony, when we shared what had happened here, we got a very different message. We got a message that this is pretty serious, and that there's a wide variety of things that ISBE could do, including up into the people losing their certification. So this was not wild. I really don't believe that. I believe what I wrote, what I said to the newspapers, and that I don't think it was malice, but it was very poor judgment here on this. I don't think it was really an attempt, intended attempt to help kids get ahead on the test. but to outsiders looking at that, the kinds of things that were done, allowing youngsters after the time period to come back down to the office and fill in the answer squares, to transform written answers from the workbook to the test card, even though it was after the time frame, and a variety of other things were serious enough for ISBE to demand a report from us. We took all the information that we received from the interviews here. We sent that material to ISBE. They are still conducting, I guess, their review. I don't know if it's really called an investigation because they don't have an awful lot of folks go out and do investigations on these matters. But they are reviewing our report. They expect probably, the sense we got, and we don't have a real timeline, but the sense we got was sometimes in May they would rule on if there's any sanctions that are relative to the school or those individuals. Regardless of their ruling, we have information about what the two individuals who were involved in this situation, what they had done, and we took the action we thought was appropriate given the level of severity of what we uncovered in the investigation. I'd like to add just a couple of things, and then we, first of all, I'd add that our questioning led us to believe that the real transgressions did occur outside of the classroom, that the things that really were serious were not a larger issue in the school. And we also find that the damage, if you will, for the lack of a better term, was really centered on two individuals. I've heard some rumors. There's no plan to remove lots of folks from this building. There will be, and I cannot speak to specifics, there will be some additional discipline for the one individual that remains employed. And that's probably as far as I can go with specifics about the investigation. It was I don't know whether it was in a letter we sent home or in the newspaper. There was a list of the kinds of transgressions, so I don't think that's a secret. Let me also ramble just a bit. I'm sorry.
Can you speak louder?
Specifically, what did the newspaper say?
Oh, some people didn't see the newspaper.
The specific transgressions.
Can you speak louder, please?
Oh, I can list them.
Yeah. There you go. Hold the mic closer.
Find the page. Okay, first of all, once I mentioned that I thought were most serious from my vantage point was allowing kids to transcribe information after the test had closed, calling them down out of the classroom to do so at a time when this is a timed test. There was they even tell you in the test booklet, and the State Board of Ed is very specific in this test book that you ought not even erase stray marks and things of that nature. That was done, but those are technicalities. But the real serious issues was transcribing information from answer books to the answer key, filling in circles on answer key that were not filled in during the time period in the classroom. And those were, I think, deemed the most serious of the offenses. The other thing that I wanted to mention, though, before the question came up, was the issue of the timeline on this whole event, because I was concerned as superintendent certainly that we were going into the spring break, and really considered that carefully. And the question was, do we disclose, or do we hold and not disclose? And it's one of those issues where you're darned if you do and darned if you don't. And I chose, rightfully or wrongfully in your eyes, I chose to disclose what had taken place as soon as possible. I spoke, I think it was the next day, to 3 reporters. The other thing I want you to hear very directly from me, because I think it's true, and I think it's important for folks to keep in mind. I indicated that this was an anomaly. I indicated that this is a great school with great teaching staff. Because I could see, if you could read the tea leaves, what can happen in a situation like this. And we went we were extremely careful, truthful, but careful in how we shared information with the press. This can be a story that gets sensationalized beyond.
How many kids were involved in the actual anomaly?
About 25.
25. Out of how many kids?
How many kids are in the school?
Only 3 grades. So like 240 or
About 260 take the test.
I'll answer the question, but frankly, it could have been 1 child. This is wrong. We can get that information. I'm certainly principal. It wouldn't matter if it was 1 child or 10 child. It's the wrong thing to do. We're really trying to set a tone of doing what's right, even if it's difficult. And I understand it's difficult. If you think it's easy sitting at a table, looking at very concerned folks who I can't give all the information to, and making those decisions, you'd be wrong.